very warm welcome to all of you who have joined us today. Once again, happy Bringling. And today we have our very first guest, Sandhya Pillai. Thank you so much, Sandhya, for being on the Bringle Talks. You are our first guest speaker, and we've just got to know one another a few days back, but the very fact that you've agreed to come and spend your time, which is extremely precious, I can understand. So I'm not going to take more of your time. I'll give a little introduction about you, a two-liner, before we ask you to talk about your journey, your experiences, and which in itself is an inspiration. So we have Sandhya, who is a solopreneur, a communication coach, a blogger, and lots more. And over to you, Sandhya, to talk about your journey and inspire all of us. Thank you.
Thank you, Farida. It's a privilege for me to be the first speaker on Bringle Talks. And thank you, Bringle Talks, and you for organizing this. I would love to take the discussion further. So, yeah, I think you did mention that I'm a blogger and also a communication coach. So, I'll quickly talk about how the journey was. So how would you want me to start? Do you want me to start from my, how I just originated, or you would want me to talk about?
However, you're comfortable, whatever you're comfortable, we are here, all ears to listen to your story.
Thank you so much, Farida. That makes it so comfortable for me. So, I am Sandhaya Pillai. I'm originally from Kerala. I have studied in different places in India. So, that way, I think I've traveled a lot. So, I studied in today, which is called Jharkhand, Bokaro Steel City. I did my schooling from there. I graduated from Nagpur, which is again Maharashtra. I also did my post graduation from Bhubaneswar, which is Odisha. I started working in Baroda, which is Gujarat, and I also worked in Ahmedabad, and then moved to Delhi to start off my, a career in advertising. So I did my PGDM in marketing, and I started with advertising and research. So worked with Dun and Bradstreet, worked with some of the ad agencies at that point of time. But somehow I think the calling always was very different. I guess more because I come from an education background. My mother's a teacher. She's still teaching at the age of 68. My sister has been in the teaching industry. She is part of the DPS Academy, as in the entire school institutions. And so I guess education always was one bent that I had in my mind, that I have to some way, train or teach. I was very sure that I don't want to be a teacher. I don't know why. Maybe because I'd seen so many tuition students coming to my mom and studying, and the way she would teach them. I guess I was very wary of teaching students for sure. But I'm glad that that is also gone off. So I got married in the year 2004, and I moved to Delhi with my husband. And 2007 is when my daughter was born, Drishti. So when she was born is when I actually took a sabbatical, and most of the women here would relate to it, because yeah, when the kid is growing, you definitely need to take a break. And to be very frank, I was never guilty of that decision. I was always prepared for it. I always had that in mind, that if there is a kid going to happen, I am taking a break for my career. Because for me, I read a lot. I'm an avid reader. I always thought that the first 3 years of the formative years of a child is important. And or maybe also because my mother was working, and I think I did not get that kind of attention. I wouldn't say care, she was no less, because we don't find that kind of moms today, who can multitask like that. I don't think even I can do that. But so yes, so I definitely took that decision, and it was a well planned decision of taking a break. But I did not expect that once Drishti is born and I take a break, I would go through a turmoil, because I wasn't prepared for it. The moment it was 1 month into the sabbatical, I realized that I was not mentally stable. I was very irritated, very, I don't know, it was anxiety, it was anger, it was so much of angst inside. I really didn't know what was going on. I knew I was enjoying the time with my daughter, but there was something which was missing in my life. And that's when I realized that, once we become working women, uh, it is important for one to have an identity. Motherhood is an identity, but we still need something. We still keep seeking for something or the other. And I'm using the word we here because I have, coached so many women, and I realized that all of them feel that motherhood feels great, and it is something that you almost die with, but you still need an identity. Even the child looks for an identity in a mother. So yes, I started writing about parenting. Then I wrote a lot of love letters to my daughter. I name it the first love letter. And I started doing that. I started writing about what she does and things like that. We didn't have Facebook then. I think Orkut, Farida, if I'm not mistaken, that was there. Orkut used to be there. We never had WhatsApp or Facebook to express what you're feeling or seek help from people. So a couple of things
Yes.
that I realized is, one, we didn't have a support system then. I'm talking about 2007. If women took a sabbatical, and in a life which is so fast and driven, and you're living in nuclear families, there is no support system. There is nobody to tell you what is right and what is wrong. So though my mother-in-law, everybody was there with me, but there were things that I wanted to do it my way. And I still wanted to know if, mothers of my age were doing the same things that I was doing, or were they still following them, mothers' recipes or mothers' tips. So yeah, I wanted to have motherhood my way. So there always used to be a clash with my mom about things that I wanted to do it my way. But yes, we didn't have support system. Today we have so many forums that we can talk. But so yeah, the first thing that I realized within a year of taking a sabbatical was that we need support. When we move out of the corporate system, we definitely need support. And I really started writing about it. And though once I moved into writing, I think it gave me a lot of space to express myself as well. So that's been pretty much the journey. And then also what happened is, while I'd taken the sabbatical, and within the 3 years, a lot of personal issues also started cropping up in my life. And uh, though I think I really worked on it, both of us, but things didn't turn the way it had to be. So there are a lot of issues personally that was going on. And I realized that I need to go back to my career, because that's something that would keep me busy, also give me an identity. I think the identity crisis is something which is bringing all the problems around. So yeah, so that's how I then went back to my work. I started doing a lot of freelancing. I started doing accent training because Amex had given me that certification. So while I was working with Amex and HSBC, I had that kind of certification. So I did accent training. I did a lot of train the trainer programs. And so somewhere in 2012, when my daughter was 5 years, uh, I don't know, something just came up to my mind, and I was very sure that I have to start something of my own for sure. I'm not joining the corporate, again. So Drishtikon was born like that. And it also was born because my daughter always has a very unique perspective towards life. I think for me today, if I learn a lot in terms of a positive perspective, I learn from her. I don't know how she's got that, but she has a very different perspective of looking at life. So for her, I actually started this Drishtikon, and it was only about personal development. People today talk about personal mastery and growth. I started in the year 2012. I coached a lot of women in Gurgaon and Delhi at that point of time. And I coached them on something that I had gone through. I saw a lot of women who had taken sabbatical. They wanted to start their home-based businesses. It could be baking. There were women who wanted to start off a small, nutrition clinic inside their house. They'd done nutrition but never used it. So these kind of things started coming up. And it was interesting to coach and mentor them. And then I also had some English classes, which of course I dread doing even today. But because these were women who I was coaching, so I did a lot of English classes with them. So that's how Drishtikon basically started, with coaching and mentoring women entrepreneurs or professionals who had taken a sabbatical. And then we moved on to the corporate and started doing programs around communication coaching. And I also got coached under one of my very top leaders from Amex. She had started a mentoring program. So I also got mentored under her to be how to be a coach and how to actually lead your businesses, because we didn't have startup. If you remember, Farida, startup India never existed. There was
No,
no
not at
digital.
all.
Yeah, there was no digital India, no support system. So yeah, I think that really helped me carve my own modules and keep iterating and changing and working on it. Each time I had a new client and new challenges with women, I would change the module. So somewhere I think coaching came into place in my life, and I realized that there is a very huge structure that I've put to coaching. There is a lot of work that I'm doing around coaching and behavioral sciences with people. And that made me really work. And I worked on NLP. And I also started something called Teacher Life Skills Programs, which is basically, I think, it's kind of a gift that I gave to my mother, because she kept telling me that you should do something for the education industry, because you belong to that family. And I realized that I may not be too good with lesson planning or classroom management, but I am definitely good with life skills because I've worked with uh, people on behavior and sciences. So that's how life skills for teachers started. And so I have a lot of modules that I do for teachers on life skills, because teachers really struggle with life skills. They do have issues, and we don't realize that there is a lot of time and turmoil also that goes when they're teaching non-stop for so many hours, and plus the pressure of ensuring that the syllabus is done and the lesson plans are in place, and the children should not be today beaten up or scolded. So much of pressure that they have from all the three sides. So yes, life skill works wonders for them. So so this is how I kind of diversified. If I look at it, Farida, I don't think I had anything planned. If people today ask me, my Excel sheet of the business plan of 5 years is still there, but I'm not sure if I've ever followed that, maybe revenue wise, but I've never followed the modules that I wanted, because each time I realized that this is a need and I would jump into it. So that's how I've jumped and created modules, and then I've done it. It has never been that, I planned this and that happened. So I always tell people, even today, and it's there on my YouTube, that even if you have a plan A, have your plan B, plan C ready, because if you're not able to do plan A, at least you're not devastated, there's a plan B, plan C for you always. So that's how my Drishtikon journey was until 2017. When I'd already mentioned that personal problems were really going bad, and this is all when all these personal things are going on in my life. But I was very sure that, I'm not stepping out of this house until my daughter turns 10. I really wanted the child to be aware of the decision the mother's taking. I didn't want her to be in a state where she doesn't know what is happening and suddenly get separated from the father. So I really wanted to take that conscious decision. 2017 is when Drishti turned 10 years, and I moved out of that house and I moved to Bombay. So typically, if I look at my age, then I was 42 when I started again. So I completely, kind of put Drishtikon on hold and moved to Bombay because I wasn't sure if, Drishtikon would be accepted immediately in Bombay, and can I actually survive just with that one company? I have to take care of my daughter. So do I need a fixed income or something like that? So Drishtikon, I did not plan to continue it here when I came to Bombay. So if you look at it, typically 43 is when I restarted my career again. Yeah. So yeah, a big leap. If somebody asks me, don't ask me how I get that strength. Where did I get that strength from? But I was very sure that having such a positive frame of mind, I would not want my child to be raised in an abusive environment. I would not want the child to be in an unhealthy environment. So I was very clear of that. So that was one motivation that kept me moving. I guess that was one thing that kept me moving and creating things on my own. So same thing worked for me here. I had plan A, plan B, plan C here as well. But yeah, I actually interestingly tried on all plans. Very difficult, but I had kept all options open so that, even if this fails, I did not want an opportunity. I didn't actually have the opportunity of allowing any plan to fail, to be very frank. Each day was important. If I'm not earning, I'm sure I can't feed my daughter, right? So I had to be very sure of all the plans working simultaneously and just taking whatever takes the lead. So yes, that's how it started in Bombay again. So today Drishtikon is back in place after 2.5 years. I got revived it back, and I do still do personal development programs. But having said that, there's something that I created while I came to Bombay, and people who have lived in Bombay know that this city can be alone at the same time and also make you inclusive. So even if it makes you inclusive, there are times that you're a loner. So and for a single mother, yes, it is lonely. Even if people say that it is not, I am sure it is not. It is lonely. There are times when you want somebody to talk to you and understand that you're sitting alone and you're kind of fighting with life and fighting with situations. So that is how I joined the single parent community here. And today I kind of lead the community in Mumbai, Pune. And there are, of course, different coordinators, other sides of the city as well. But so that is one portion of life also that I have, other than my programs on personal development for women. And then today I coach everybody, not men, women. So no gender bias for me today. Yes, and I do a lot of motivation talks on how I actually redesigned my life. But having said that, this also shaped up, and today we are a community of more than 54 to 60 single parents. We keep meeting and we ensure that our kids get a very healthy environment, and that's very critical for me. The second thing that I started was Yana, which is You Are Not Alone Anymore, an initiative, because I realized that I met a lot of NGOs here in Mumbai to understand, are there single women who move into Bombay and feel left out or isolated? Yes, there are. There are. Not only women, there are also men who feel that. So it's not only women. So that's how Yana was formulated. And then I started personal happiness programs, which is absolutely free on WhatsApp for people to join. Gratitude programs, which is absolutely free, because these are things that kept me in sane throughout my journey. I thought it's why not introduce other people to it. So so every December we have gratitude programs. So we kind of usher in the new year with gratitude for 28 days, and then post that in March we have the personal happiness programs. So the idea is always start off the new year with that kind of positivity and happiness and joy. Uh, so yeah, I guess that's pretty much my journey of 43 years. A lot of roller coaster ride, kind of a roller coaster ride. But if I look back at it, no regrets. So this is my story. One line of tip to everybody, not only women, is that never ever give up. One, it's easy to say that, but so how you never give up is seek support. Always seek support. Even if you're going through depression, you feel that there are issues, there are mental health issues that you're facing. Please reach out to people to know if it is really depression. Don't just understand it, because depression is the most misused word today. Every mental health is not depression, so don't kind of put it a blanket word for it and assume that you have depression and just get away with it. So talk to people if you think there is a issue. Talk to people if you think you need to discuss about a certain trait that you see in yourself or a behavior that you see in yourself. And it is okay not to be perfect. It is absolutely okay. We all are aiming perfection, and that's where we kind of look at a very higher image for ourselves, and we kind of see that no, 43, we should have reached here by 43. I should have had a billionaire company. I should have had five villas. No, it's okay. Everybody starts, and then everybody's time machine is different, and life has different plans for you. But when life throws up a challenge at you, always have your plan A, plan B, plan C ready, so that if this fails, at least you have the other option. Now you'll say, I can't do it when I'm not mentally stable. Yes, you can do it. You seek the help of friends, mentors, and coaches. I always had mentors in my life throughout. Even today, I am not ashamed to say that today also I have a life coach. Today also I have a social media coach. I have mentors with me. I cannot possibly would have reached this stage at 43. Starting off was not easy, but I had people. I had a very strong friend support system who helped me sail through. So please take out time and meet your friends. Don't be workaholic. Take out time for your family. because they will be your support system when you fall down. They will be your biggest support. So with this tip, Farida, I am actually done with my story and my tip for the day.
Thank you so much, Sandhya. And believe me, there were a lot of things that I have also learned, and I can only imagine what it is, when you are all by yourself doing all these things. So, a lot of things I could relate with you, and I'm sure the other women, the other people are also going to be able to relate to this. So, thank you so much for it's a wonderful talk. And, when we speak to people who have similar issues or even more than us, we feel that, oh my God, if she could do it, even I can do it. So that is the whole idea behind this restart your career also. And to move on to our topic for today, which is independence, financial independence for women. So do you think it is important for women to be financially independent?
Yes, Farida, very important for women to be financially independent, because if you just look at my life also, had I been more prepared, I don't think my struggle, when I moved to Bombay would have been so much. I wasn't prepared because, we have that typical mindset that everything is joint when you get married. You think that everything is supposed to be shared, and it's a great feeling to have that. But if your partner is not supportive, you may kind of lose out all the investment and the savings that you've done. So I think I was not very cautious of that fact. Though I come from the banking industry, but I was kind of the trust that I had in the family. So I guess my investments went wrong that way. Otherwise, I was very good with investments. So I believe, and I tell my daughter also that start off early, because one, starting off early in a work life gives you a lot of confidence to deal with issues, and it helps you kind of adjust to a lot of corporate environment, different people, understanding the mindsets, and also travel different places. So financial independence is important because you need to have a balance of all five areas of your life. If there cannot be possibly a disbalance, you need to kind of balance that. Also to ensure that you have emergency funds, which I'm really working on. So please join. There are a lot of forums on financial awareness for women. If you need that kind of help, please reach out to forums where financial awareness for women is being talked about. There are books written by a lot of financial investors and women in the stock trading industry. Read, make your children read. There are books today about money and investment for kids. Start early, because if they start investing and learning to save money early, it is easier for them to sail through difficult situations. I know mental stability and growth mindset is important when you are going through trouble situation, but if your financials are good, it really gives you a very strong backbone. So I would say it is critical, very critical. I have started training my daughter already on that, because I think I made that was the biggest mistake that I made. I had everything in joint account, and I never had anything for myself.
Thanks for this great tip. And definitely, I am also of that same opinion. Especially, I agree with you that when you start earning at a younger age, so like, you're out of college and you start earning, you already are financially independent. And the moment that is snapped from you, the entire anything else doesn't work, it's fine. But when you don't have your finances right, especially when you are an independent person, going to somebody to ask for that money is only just so demoralizing and demotivating. Oh my God, how can I ask for that money? Be it your husband, be it your mom, be it anybody. But after marriage, that is something I feel you really need. So I'm sure most of the women are lucky to have good husbands and who look after them. But somewhere they should start thinking on these lines, not like they have to go out and work, but start doing some small investments, like you said, which would help for not only to themselves but for their child also. So
Yeah.
yes, we both are of the same opinion, and I hope this helps the others also to think on these similar lines, because we really don't know what is coming up next.
Yeah,
And if
true.
you are financially strong, I guess support also comes easily. But when you're
Yes.
not, you don't get that kind of support also from people.
Absolutely, Farida. So there's also one thing that I would want to add. It's not only about, divorced families or separated. I had an issue, incident where this woman, though she was working, she had taken a sabbatical and had not worked after her two kids, and her husband suddenly passed away. Eh, So she had taken such a long break from the entire world that she was so busy rearing and taking care of the children. She had no idea what his investments looked like. It was such a trouble and so much of effort to ensure that she could get papers in place and she could get everything in her name. So it's not only about, being separated or divorced. You should be aware of that. A woman should be aware of the financials. Even a housewife, please be aware of a basic structure of how the finances work. Banks, how do they work? How is the fixed deposit? How do you get money, return on investments? I'm saying very basic money management should be taught at a very early stage, because we see this issue coming up very, because people today, people have started dying very early because of heart attack or blood
Yes.
pressures, and there are a lot of corporate employees who are dying early because of their stress levels being so high. So fitness, we talk about fitness, but when these people, one of the partner dies, the other partner has no clue where the investments are, how to get that, how to liquidate that investment is something that they're not aware. So I would say that that was also very important. So you're right, you brought up the right topic. Financial management is critical. We should start off very early in schools for kids as well.
Great. Thank you so much, Sandhya. And it was a pleasure having you here. It was a pleasure hearing your story. And like you're motivating us, I'm sure others are also going to be motivated. And I thank you and I wish you all the very best for your future endeavors. And thank you for joining us on Bringle Talks. Happy Bringling. And I hope this is been a wonderful session for you all too. So thank you, Sandhya.
Thank you. Happy Bringling every day, everybody, and have a great day. Thanks,
Thank,
Farida. Thank
yeah.
you.
Bye bye.
Bye.